Last night, immigrant rights advocates scored a major win against the Trump administration. Remember this video? It was captured by an immigrant who managed to sneak a cell phone into the ICE detention facility in Lower Manhattan. And in the video, you can see more than a dozen men sleeping on the floor in an overcrowded holding cell. One immigrant can be heard saying that they are being treated like dogs. And at some point, the camera pans to show that the room these men are being kept in is also their bathroom, with what appears to be only one working toilet for more than a dozen men. Now, that video is the only glimpse we and the public have been able to get of the facility on the 10th floor of 26 Federal Plaza in Manhattan, where ICE has been holding an untold number of immigrants, despite the facility not being designed to do so at all. It's not what they're designed to do. Now, for months now, multiple members of Congress have shown up at that facility, demanding entry. We've been talking about it on the show for months. Legally, any federal detention facility must allow members of Congress inside at any time so they can conduct oversight. But over and over again, ICE has denied them entry. At the same time, immigrants and immigrant rights organizations have alleged that the facility is overcrowded and unsanitary, and that immigrants held there are being denied access to medicine and to lawyers. The government had been adamantly denying those claims, saying they were, quote, categorically false. Now, I say the government had been denying those claims because yesterday, when a government lawyer was forced to confirm or deny those allegations in court, the government's lawyer conceded that all of those allegations were in fact true. The government did not dispute that there were no beds or sleeping mats in the facility, or that immigrants were not given access to medication, or that immigrants were denied in-person access to legal representation. Now, after hearing all of that it was in fact categorically true, the federal judge in the case ordered ICE to immediately improve conditions in the facility. That means less crowded cells and access to medical care and attorneys. It means immigrants must be provided with clean bedding and mats to sleep on, as well as soap, towels, toilet paper, toothbrushes, and toothpaste. That is what it looks like when pushback works. This is the Roybal Federal Building in the other side of the country, on the other side of the country in downtown Los Angeles. Just like 26 Federal Plaza in New York, the Roybal Building has been used by ICE to detain an unknown number of immigrants, despite not being designed in any way to do so. And just like in New York, activists allege that the conditions in the facility are inhumane. And just like in New York, members of Congress have been demanding entry into the facility to see for themselves, trying to push back. Congressman Jimmy Gomez, who represents the area, had been turned away over and over again. And we talked about it with him a number of times about it on this show, until on Monday he was finally let in, only to find the place all but empty, like no one had ever been held there, which we know is not the case. Joining me now is Congressman Jimmy Gomez. Thank you so much for being here with us. And we've talked about this. You've been kind enough to come on our show and talk about this and your efforts to get into the facility, to really advocate for access. So tell us, now that you've been in there, I alluded to some of it, but what did you see when you were finally let into this ICE facility on Monday?
Well, it was straight out of the Twilight Zone. We heard stories that it was overcrowded, that people were there kept for days, and we were finally let in. And when we finally got in, it was B18. I kind of already had an idea what it would look like. It's in the basement. It's 9 different cells. It's a big area in the middle where people get processed. But when we get in, no one is there except 2 people. One person was talking to the Mexican consulate who happened to be there, and the other person was just in the cell with their head down on a table or something. He was just kind of sitting there. So they've been running raids even over the weekend, and all of a sudden there's no one there. That's just completely bizarre. It doesn't hold to what should be the case, but that's what we knew would happen if we gave them notice. So we actually finally got in after almost 14 days, 2 weeks of giving them a notice and having an appointment. So it was completely staged, completely cleared out. Nobody was being held there. And you hardly saw anybody on duty because there was also nobody there. And then I heard from different families that some of their loved ones were actually shipped to Santa Ana because they knew that the members of Congress were coming in.
That's incredible. I mean, not surprising, as you said, because you've been trying to get in for days. Now, the Santa Ana facility, is that one you and others have tried to get into? Is that a next step here, or what's next?
So what's next is to the way I'm kind of looking at it. Santa Ana, that handles a lot of the people in Orange County that are getting caught up in raids. The one in downtown is mostly everybody in LA County. What I've heard after that is from different family members that people started getting shipped back into the downtown facility. So what I'm going to do is kind of try to do show up according to the law that allows me to drop in without any notice to see what truly is going on there. Additionally, we're trying to track down families and find out how long their loved ones were held. A good example, when we were meeting with ICE in the detention facility, they told us that no one was held there more than 72 hours. That same day, I talked to a family and a daughter of a loved one who got arrested and held there. She said that her father was arrested on a Monday and wasn't released until Saturday or Sunday of that week. So they keep lying over and over and over again because they know that they're breaking the law.
We just showed some footage from a cell phone of a facility in New York. I know, as you've said, you've been in touch with a lot of some family members, some people who have been impacted in communities. Tell us a little bit, since it was staged, what is your understanding of what the conditions in this facility had been like before it was emptied out? Because that was, of course, why you wanted to gain access and really see it yourself.
My office got contacted by somebody that was saying that they got arrested at a check-in at the court. They're doing their yearly ICE check-in. They get arrested, and a child and a mother was held there. What I was told is that there were people that were sleeping on the ground, which makes sense because there's no beds there, and it's only meant to hold people up to 12 hours. They weren't getting enough food because they only provide a little bit of water, chips, or cookies, which is true because it's only supposed to be held, people are only supposed to be held there for 12 hours. So all of a sudden, this place is supposed to be packed, and then there's nobody there. And then I even asked other people, what is it like before, just like a normal ICE detention facility before the Trump administration? There's always people there. So to say that all of a sudden there's only 2 people, it just happens to be the same day that the members of Congress are supposed to visit. So that's what I'm talking about, is just a blatant lie and a cover-up, because they know that if we see what's really going on, that we can provide feedback to Congress, but also to the public on what's going on inside.
Yeah, I mean, you're not just trying to visit these facilities, you're also part of a lawsuit suing ICE for denying you and other members of Congress entrance into federally run detention facilities to prevent this from happening. What is the latest on where that lawsuit stands?
Yes, I'm filing this lawsuit as an individual member of Congress. Because the law says that I can, at any drop in at any moment notice, present my congressional ID card, which I did, and go inside and look at the conditions in the facility, nothing more than that, and how people are being treated. So we filed a preliminary injunction. We're waiting to see what happens, but we're going to keep pushing because we believe that this administration is breaking the law and is outside the bounds of the law when it comes to, as an individual member of Congress, my right to inspect and conduct oversight.